Welcome to Dateline Health. This is Fred Lippman coming to you from Nova Southeastern University. This is at the Alan B. Levan Innovation Center. Is a co-sponsored venue between Broward County and Nova Southeastern University, and we're very glad to have you here today. This is an annual show that we do every year. This is an introduction to Humane Society of Broward County, which is in right off of Griffin Road, near the railroad track. You see that beautiful building. And this is Katie Tutt, who has a master's in
Marriage and Family Therapy.
Marriage and Family Therapy.
Yes.
And she's the Community Programs Coordinator for Animal Assisted Therapy program, and she's the manager of that, and obviously it's at the Humane Society of Broward County. We try to do these shows to make you aware of the fact that these magnificent, trained and skilled animal-assisted characters, this beautiful little girl right here, is so valuable to our community. Tell us what the community program is all about.
Oh, thank you so much. And this is Daisy. She is one of our retired animal assisted therapy program animals. She's almost 15 years old, so we feel like she's definitely done her job for the community, and now she just likes to eat a lot and sleep while at home. But while in the program, she helped out with, different aspects, whether it was teaching children in our community, going to schools, working on empathy with kids, even just the right way to pet a dog. Unfortunately, most bites for dogs are for children, and that's just because they don't necessarily know the right way to approach an animal. So we worked on those kinds of things. And then also, of course, any community response if there's a crisis. Daisy did work pretty much weekly at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas with the students. Really just providing a shadow, extra love and attention, and kind of help everyone get back on track after the incident. But that's just two of the many, many things that our program can do.
Yeah. The three areas that we've discussed over the years have been crises such as the unfortunate occurrence at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, as well as programs where we do reading programs. I know you do that, where some of your colleagues have explained prior that the fact that the dogs, these beautiful, wonderful animal-assisted creatures that are really part of everyone's family, they don't make a decision as to who is good-looking, who is not good-looking, who wears big glasses, or who's shy and who's not shy. And somehow, after the attention of the dog and the community service person with the dog, the whole atmosphere changes within the room. Is that true?
Oh, very much so. We've been in the community with our Wags and Tails program for a while, and actually, I would say in the last 8 years, started it within the shelter as well. When I worked in our education department, I started something called Purrs and Tails, where the children could come in and actually go in our community cat rooms and read to the cats. And they do read to the dogs now as well. So whether it's out in the community and coming to read to one of our animal-assisted therapy dogs or coming into the shelter, children get an unjudgmental experience, which I know from when I was a kid that I absolutely hated being called to read in class. I was worried I would say something wrong, or someone would make fun of me, but these animals don't care. They don't care if you mess up on a word. And we've found that just, through research and just through our own experience, that when children have that opportunity, they gain a lot of confidence. Their literacy rates go up. For an example, I had a student who was 2 grades below when she started in the beginning of the year, her reading level. By the end of the year, she was 2 above. So it's a beautiful way for students really to practice and Again, they have a loving animal with an unjudgmental ear that, provides love and attention to them. And they, again, like you said, don't care what they look like.
Yeah, one of the things that that has come to our attention a couple of times with reference to that particular program is that, again, the dogs are not judgmental. So if the dog is immediately attended to, the person who is presenting something or trying to read that is wearing very, shall we say, exaggerated lenses, glasses, where kids have picked, it's children pick up on certain things and say, oh, well, 2 eyes or whatever, you got, magnifying glasses or bottles, et cetera, and all of a sudden it disappears because the foci is on the child reading and the dog. Is that true?
Oh, absolutely. I think animals, and of course dogs, have a very beautiful way of teaching anyone how it looks to love unconditionally. And, that what we wear, what we look like doesn't matter at all. It's what's inside that matters. And even just children interacting with animals, they can see, a dog is going to go up to anyone that's standing nearby. Just because you might look different, it doesn't matter to them.
I also was always very fond of the issue of these animal-assisted dogs, or assistant dogs, that bring to venues such as cancer care centers. Particularly, I know that you work very closely with Joe DiMaggio Hospital and places like that, where there are children that are gravely ill, and these dogs seem to give them a new foci on life. Would you want to talk a bit about that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, regardless of venue, whether it's children in the hospital, dealing with something as horrible as cancer, or, even going down to work with children that maybe are dealing with abandonment, that are in the system or anything like that. The dogs are really able to brighten spirits, and I think they're able to find some kind of camaraderie with them in ways that maybe they wouldn't be able to, with an adult. When we're going into cancer centers, a lot of the time it's very institutionalized, right, in the hospital, and it's hard to make it feel like home. And we all know we feel better when we're at home. So bringing the animals in can really brighten their day and make it feel a lot less like a hospital, which is a really nice break for the children or anyone, that's in the hospital. Or, for example, I remember we went down to, I believe it was his house in Miami with, children that were, in the system, and, a lot of them had been abandoned by parents. And one of them, I remember, just got the biggest smile on their face because they realized that some of our dogs were rescues too. And they said, well, they know what it's like for their mommy or daddy not to want them or can't be with them anymore. And it just made the kids feel so much better and, get that bond with something else that knows what they've been through. And I think sometimes people are able to bond so much easier with animals because they come with those without conditions.
Let me ask you this. I know that there's been a lot of, you can put it down.
I was going to say, I think her tushy's slipping.
It's all right. We've just been through a insidious viral attack with this COVID issue. And there have been so many elderly, most people don't realize that in the state of Florida, we have the highest percentage of people over the age of 70 of any state in the United States. And a lot of situation has occurred where illness has prevailed, and it's been very difficult for a lot of these people. I never call them elderly. My mother wouldn't be very happy if she did. God bless her soul. But you know, I mean, they're advanced in life, and they want to have the normal activities, and they were not able to leave their apartments or condominiums or even their homes and go for oversimplistic things, you know, walk the dog and communicate with people.
Right.
And a lot of dogs were brought to the shelters. I just wonder what kind of impact it had. I know there were, I know that you received dogs from around the nation after these massive hurricanes and tornadoes and things of that nature. But how difficult is it for the Broward Humane Society to deal with this?
Well, luckily, our facility, for the most part, we have never had to turn any animals away. Our facility is 33,000 square feet, and we have 80 dog runs and just as many cat areas. So not only do we have a lot of room, but we have a wonderful foster program as well. So if we were to have too many animals come in and we don't have enough cages or anything like that, we do have a lot of foster families that could take them, which is nice. Unfortunately, I was just talking to a family the other day whose mother had to go into an assisted home and she had to lose her dog at that point, but still very much loves animals and misses them. So we're going to be setting up to go visit their facility now, just so we can get that kind of love and joy back in her life. Piglet, goodness gracious, ma'am.
She's just talking to the camera.
I know, she's telling stories. Heavens to Betsy Daisy May. But yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, that with reference to that, there's been a huge growth in the number of assisted living facilities, particularly in Florida and more particularly in South Florida. And there are many of them that do not accept animals.
Right.
So what do we do? What do we do about
No
that situation?
Well, unfortunately, we are seeing an uptick in animals coming in because, parents and families are going to have to make that hard choice to put, the elderly members into assisted living facilities. I would not be surprised if in the near future there is something like we have set up with women in distress, which I'm not sure if you're familiar, but
I'm a founding member.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, several years ago when we set up the kind of portable unit on their site, so when people did have to go into the facility, they were able to take their animals with them. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if something like that could be set up in some of these homes, or also just kind of a nationwide acceptance of animals are part of our family. And more places will start to accept them, in the assisted living facilities. I mean, we can hope. Anytime that we can help a family keep the pet within the home too, we will. Anything we can do.
Well, I think that's very important because, the length of time that these pets are part of our lives, it's very, very traumatic to lose the love and caring and sometimes even the nuisance sometimes of having a pet and dealing with the pet. But the bottom line is that we have a situation where I believe that you're right. I think that as the ALFs are increasing in number, I think you're going to find venues where there will be pets in certain parts of the venue, and there will be areas where there will be no pets allowed.
No, ma'am.
She's just talking to the microphone.
She is. She's very talkative today.
She's very talkative, right?
She has a lot to say. But we, interestingly, in the last month, and I don't know why the uptick, maybe because of the holidays, but I've seen a big increase in calls from assisted living facilities interested in having us bring our teams out there.
Well, I would understand that. I'm not going to name the facilities, but I just had a communication with one of the very well-known ALFs in our community here in Broward County and one in Dade County. And they were talking about the issue of creating a venue or a building or somewhat, or building onto their facilities for people who want pets. Now, they talk about, they're no longer talking about size of pets, but they're talking about the number of pets. I mean, they you know, I don't think they're upset by the size of the dog, but I think they're conditionally worried about, you know, where the dog would be walked, where the dog does the normal natural things that any dog or animal does. But I think there is a movement afoot. I really do. I hope so for the animals, because you know, we have this situation where it's really sad. I mean, it's sad. I mean, you know, some of these, from a human perspective, we don't necessarily call them our children, but in essence, the kindness and caring and love that they give to us is based upon their relationship to us as almost as a child or a relative. And then to all of a sudden put them out in the cold, per se, is really a sad thing.
It could be traumatic for both parties,
Right.
definitely.
Right.
Yeah, and just thinking about all the health benefits a pet provides us,
Well,
you know, bringing that into the facilities too is great.
I want to get to that point,
Sure.
because there's a number of research projects that are just completed and are going on right now relative to the influence of a pet and the mitigation of pain and suffering in people with certain diseases and their aged position in life. Would you want to touch on that?
Well, I mean, absolutely. Obviously, animals provide us not only, like we've been talking about, that unconditional love, but just the health benefits from them. You know, anytime we pet a dog, our blood pressure starts to decrease. I call them our good hormones are released. So we get those boosts of oxytocin and the lowering of cortisol and things like that. But if you look over a long scale, that helps our longevity in the long end. So I think being able to have an animal present and around, I mean, beyond health-wise, I mean, if you look at mobility, you know, you're more likely to have to, oh, I'm going to have to go walk the dog, and you're going to get up and about, as opposed to maybe just sitting on the couch or something like that. You know, I believe that, you know, animals do help us to live healthier lives on different aspects. So seeing that, obviously, as our aging community, and, you know, our lifespans are just increasing all the time, and we're living to older ages, that it would make sense to continue, you know, that trend as you're getting older.
Well, you know, this show has been going on Dateline Health is something that's been going on for about 23 years. And we talk about multiple healthcare issues. And a lot of the questions that come from the viewers relate to, how do I mitigate pain? How do I mitigate surgical techniques? Now they're very interested in minimally invasive techniques. They don't want to be in hospitals for a long period of time. But it's been proven, scientifically it's been proven, just as you say, that the dogs themselves have mitigated many of the, shall we say, dangerous and sometimes overly causing problems within the people that are being cared for. They mitigate it. They, like you said, there's oxytocin. You keep on, repeat that again. Go ahead.
So, well, our good hormones, for example, our oxytocin, those would increase even just with petting a dog. And you'll notice your cortisol levels, which are usually when we're stressed out, will release the cortisol, and those will lower. So,
And the blood pressure.
and our blood pressure goes down.
Right. Which is important, which is very important to the viewers, and I really believe that that they should pay heed to this. I really appreciate you doing this and bringing this wonderful aged dog here. But I don't know whether she wants to come up on my lap, but that's up to her. But the bottom line is that, folks, I want you to know that we have this magnificent venue called Humane Society of Broward County right here on Griffin Road, right near the railroad tracks as you get into the Dania area. Actually, it's in the Dania area, Dania City. And if you want to put yourself into a situation where you select a dog, or just go visit them. They're very kind people. You can even go online and see the inventory of the dogs that are available.
Absolutely.
So don't be shy. They're there. It's cost resistant, let's put it that way. And the people who are dedicated to the work at the Humane Society of Broward County are tremendous advocates, not only for the animals, but also for you. And I very rarely do this, but I will do it now. So if you want to help out the Humane Society of Broward County and find yourself at this portion of the end of the year or otherwise to want to give to a charitable cause, we'll put up a name and the address, and you'll be able to send them whatever you might want to send them. They also ask for certain pieces of materials, blankets. Go ahead, you want to go through the list?
Oh, sure, absolutely. On our website, actually, you can find, we do have our wish list. We have an Amazon wish list and things that you can bring to the shelter. Obviously, as you can imagine, we do go through a lot of laundry. So, older blankets and towels and different things we'll use for the animals. We can always use new treats for the animals as well. I know. We like to make sure, especially Daisy agrees with the treats. But we can always use that, especially just, as we try to make their time more enjoyable with us and interactive. We'll utilize the treats with training and different things like that. But yeah, there's a whole list online, and check it out. And, of course, monetary-wise, we do run completely on donations. But, every dollar and every donation makes a difference.
Well, thank you very much, Katie, Tutt, and Daisy, for visiting with us. You are certainly wishing for a little help, otherwise known as a treat. But we want you to all understand, folks, that we all live together. We're all neighbors, and these animals are part of our neighborhoods. And if you have any opportunity to deal with them in a proper way, we certainly would appreciate it. Remember, this show is called Dateline Health. We come to you from Nova Southeastern University. I always tell you to take good care of yourself, but in this case, you might even want to take care of an animal who will take good care of you, too. So remember, we'll put your name and address. We'll be right here, and we'll also put our name and address there, too. My name is Fred Lippman. Until next time, have a happy holiday. See you.